So this one is from Am I the Asshole? It's got a trigger warning for emotional abuse. The title is Am I the Asshole for calling my stepmother delusional for thinking I would change my mind on her adopting me?
Okay. Fuck.
My mom died when I was 6 years old. My dad ended up turning to one of his good friends, Anna, and they ended up getting married when I was 7. Anna brought up the idea of adopting me the day of the wedding. It was something my dad was all for, but I went nuts when she mentioned it to me, and I kind of spoiled the rest of the wedding. For the next year, we did this really intense therapy where I was told over and over again by the therapist and them that I needed a mom, that it would provide safety for me, and that it was not a betrayal of my mom to accept another loving mom into my life. The therapist put the recommendation into the court to approve it, but when the judge spoke to me, I told him that I would run away and that I would do everything to never come back. I was 8 at the time, and I meant business.
Damn.
He asked me why I didn't want to be adopted. He listened, and when he addressed the court again, he denied the adoption request and told my dad and Anna that until I was on board, no adoption would be approved in his court. They did try again, requesting a different judge, but received the same response. I was asked constantly to change my mind. Anna would put her all into trying to fill the place of my mom in my life. Every time I told her she could never be my mom, she took it as a challenge to try harder and better, and she would dedicate so much time to me, it was crazy. I never appreciated it because instead of just being Anna, and instead of my dad telling her to just be Anna, she saw mom as the only thing she wanted. Even when she had kids of her own, I was their oldest son. I was her son, her boy. She'd call herself boy mom, etc. Whereas I never called her mom. If we're being honest, I don't even love her at all after all these years. I see her as more of an intrusive family member who won't stop. My relationship with my dad is also not the best because I don't like that he wouldn't take no for an answer, and that he was so quick to try and push for an adoption. Even after I told him I would rather be with grandparents or an aunt/uncle or close family friend to Anna if he died, he insisted being with Anna and her being my mom was the best for me. I turned 18 a few months ago, and I ran like my ass was on fire to get away from Dad and Anna. I lived with my maternal grandparents for a little while before moving in with my maternal uncle, who lived near a really good apprenticeship I wanted. My paternal grandparents celebrated their wedding anniversary this past weekend, and I was there. While there, Anna approached me and handed me papers for an adult adoption. She told me she loved me and she wanted me to know it was not too late, that she would still adopt me, and she wanted to make our relationship official as mother and son. I asked her how she could be so delusional when I have said no to being adopted for 11 years now. I told her I would not change my mind. She and my dad were so pissed at my choice of words, and chaos ensued at the party. Am I the asshole?
Hell no.
No.
This person's psychotic.
Well, like, no means no.
Right. And it's like,
it's a complete sentence.
From the beginning, all I could think was it's really never going to happen unless they actually want it to happen.
Yeah.
It has to come from them, because the continued effort the entire way is just pushing them further away.
Well, I think like a lot of people don't understand, like, as a step parent, you don't have to be their parent. And I don't know why this Anna lady is obsessed with like being mom. Like, mom is just a label. It doesn't change like you being a motherly figure to that person, that little boy. Like,
and she already has kids.
Well,
or she now does.
She does now.
But she's still like hooked on it.
After he's 18 and out of the house. Like, he ran away at 18 to get away from her. And the relationship, if she would have maybe after the first time stopped, I think the relationship would have been totally different.
Yeah.
I think it was her insistence.
Yeah,
and OP even said that. OP was like, I don't even like her. She's an annoying family member that just won't stop.
Yeah.
She completely sabotaged the relationship for herself.
Yeah. It's amazing to me that some people can never take the hint. They never read the message. They just can't figure it out.
Well, and his dad too. Like, what a shitty dad to
That's
just
annoying.
be insistent and like, oh my God, no, this is your mom. This is your mom. Anna's your mom. a year after his mom died.
Yeah.
They got married a year later, asked to adopt him on their wedding day. Do you know how traumatic that is for a child?
Well, I like how headstrong this person is, though.
I
It's
know.
like 18, they just dipped out. I mean, it's never going to change. That lady's never going to change.
No. And I'm really happy OP has other family members that are super supportive. Like he was able to go live with his grandparents and now his uncle.
Yeah.
I just think that is amazing to have because not every kid has that.
Yeah, in that position, I would just continually get pushed away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you not realize that? You also, as like, she's clearly got some years on him, right? And so to be much older, having gone through more life stages, how do you not, in like at that age, even realize, oh, I'm just going to keep pushing this person away? Sure, that might not be something you get when you're younger, because you're like, you haven't learned all that yet. But when you're younger, you could do things and you don't realize that they're pushing people away. But by this age, you should be able to recognize signs. And kids, like, you could tell this person was certain in their decision from the beginning. They're not going to change.
No, they said they would run away.
Oh, maybe they'll outgrow it. Like, I'm trying to picture the conversations between the stepmom and the dad. Like, oh, maybe he'll come around.
I don't know.
How do you just get so blinded to it, you know?
Well, the fact that they then went to another judge. They didn't get the answer they wanted, so they went to another judge. Still got the same answer. Trying to force it.
Why,
There's a
though?
comment. I don't know. I don't know why she's so stuck on it. Insecurity that she's not getting the mom label.
If you had a bad judge and they put it through, could you then pull that back at 18?
Yeah, I think
or do
you
you
could.
need both parties to?
No, I think you could change it if you wanted to. You could also become an emancipated minor, and then you are your own decision maker. You don't have a parental guardian anymore. And
well, could have.
He could have.
But
if that
still,
would have been the case.
Now it's all like, I mean, everything's fine and dandy. The problem with having a strained relationship with your dad isn't fun, but
no,
having the freedom now to make your own choices, not be forced to be under the same roof.
Yeah. So there's a comment that OP responds to, and the comment says, her continued insistence all these years and the way she goes about it is sus as fuck. Is there a deeper and hidden reason for her insistence? What else does she stand to gain if you accept? Or lose if you refuse? Hold your ground, not the asshole.
Yeah.
And so OP goes, I think she loses the fantasy she had in her head. I feel like she wanted to be the stepmother people talk about as being the good example, the one who had such a good relationship that she adopted her stepkid, that he loved her just as much, if not more, than his own mom who died, and that she was good enough to help me forget the pain of losing her, and that she was enough to make all that fade away into a neatly wrapped family. I also feel like she has issues with the being treated differently to my dad and my mom. Like she doesn't want to be less than. She wants to be the exact same. To have me love her the same and treat her the same. And for it to be, again, wrapped in a perfect bow.
Right.
Someone goes, time to maybe have a discussion with your dad and set boundaries. If Anna can't respect this boundary, then she doesn't have a place in your life /circle. And time for a serious one-on-one with your dad on how much it's negatively affecting your relationship with him. If all fails, run at that point. OP goes, talking to my dad will do nothing. He does not see any of this as wrong, and he won't back me in this. That's why I moved out as soon as I could and didn't speak to them in months.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Someone, which is like one of the most awarded, goes, I think you need to get a Mother's Day gift for Anna, a copy of the declaration by the courts that you have legally changed your last name to your late mother's maiden name, rotten flowers and dead rubber rat, with a card written with thinking of you optional. Kind of like it.
Yeah.
Jaw-dropping for sure when she gets that gift, but this is not how you...
It's almost like, though, with this type of person, it's almost harder for them if you don't play a card like that. If you don't put like obvious fighting words back, if you just simply move on, that's the hardest for these types of people to swallow.
I don't know. I think that would, because she wants this perfect image. And so right now they probably have the same last name. So it's still like, oh, my stepson.
I love the name change.
I
I'm
love the
saying
name
that's a great
change.
idea. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
There's the move on after that.
well, I don't know. It depends. I mean, it's this person's choice for sure. Because that's definitely an option.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to have a video when she opens it.
I know. I would love to see it. It's just sad. OP does comment here too. If this last interaction doesn't stop them asking, then there will never be enough times. They will always try to find a way to bring it up. I could stop speaking to them for a decade and they would still ask me. Even without
weird.
saying what I did to her, we have not spoken in months. And that wasn't a good indicator of what I would say / how I feel.
Huh.
Just crazy. OP comments a lot on this post, so I'll try to put the link in the YouTube description. If I forget, please just remind me. My brain is probably going to be broken after traveling.
Oh, yeah.
But wow, I'm really, really happy OP got out. But sad for him, because I'm sure that was a very traumatic childhood and not one he needed after losing his mom.
Yeah, and it sounds so quick when you just read it. It sounds like, oh, and then I turned 18, like whatever. But
this has been years and years.
You got to think about the day to day.
Yeah.
Like a year's a long time when you sit. Obviously, when you think back on the last year, like it feels like it went by very quickly. But when you think about day after day after day, I mean, it's a long time. This has been going on since they were 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So that's a long 10 years.
It's a long time to get asked repeatedly, again and again and again, can I adopt you? Can I adopt you?
Well, there's probably so many instances we don't know about. Like it's probably endless.
Yeah. Well, at that point, it's like, is that like, there was a trigger warning on this for emotional abuse, but like, yeah, that is abuse. When someone says no and you continue to hammer on them, emotional abuse.
And then
I would say more like psychological abuse though, because you're doing it again and again and again in hopes of getting a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
Just so messed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just take the hint.
Take the hint.